Vivid Voltage prices are plummeting. What do we do now? I'm Kakashi with Kanto Capital, and if you enjoy the content, you can show your support with a like, subscribe, comment, click on affiliate links, and of course, Patreon. Shout out to the patrons. In Patreon, you'll get my detailed thoughts on the hobby, access to Q&As. Link is in the description for that. But Vivid Voltage, an amazing set. It's a great set. We have, of course, the thick Rainbow Rare Pikachu, the card that everyone loves. We have the amazing rares cards that people were going absolutely crazy for when the set first came out. And there's a lot of fantastic other cards in there as well, like full art trainers. You have the alternate art cards like the Alakazam and another Pikachu. It's a fantastic overall set. But with all of that said, I do not own a single card from Vivid Voltage quite yet. Even though I love Vivid Voltage, I love the amazing rares, Pikachu is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I have not bought any singles from this set yet. I have sealed product, but no single cards. And so the question is, why did I wait so long? And I'll admit, I want to buy those amazing rares very badly. I really like those cards. And with the recent reprint and people moving on to other sets, prices on Vivid Voltage have finally come down very hard. If we look back, booster boxes, they had hit a peak of around $250 if my memory serves correct. And it was well above $200. But mostly we sat around about $180 to $200 for the last several months. Pretty much since Vivid Voltage released, it's been in short supply. And knowing that the set was brand new and that we had this record brand new demand in the hobby and brand new collectors coming in, and the fact that Pokemon could not print enough cards, knowing all of this information, I didn't think it was the right time to buy into singles quite yet. And when Vivid Voltage first released, there wasn't enough supply from day one, and then Pokemon, they did eventually do more print runs, and those print waves, they were small, so it really barely dented the market. We basically didn't notice. So Vivid Voltage has been in short supply literally since day one, since it came out. And even though the print runs did help, I decided to be stubborn even as products started to drip feed into the market, and I didn't buy any cards quite yet. And now, here we are today, and sealed product has come again, and it's arriving, and this time Pokemon is doing a much better job with the supply. So it took about 6 months. We're finally starting to see a good supply of this set. Yes, Vivid Voltage is already 6 months old. So if you've been here since day one, Vivid Voltage is over 6 months old now, and so it's getting up there in age already. And Pokemon is finally getting Vivid Voltage out to the people. In fact, they're doing such a good job. Booster boxes have dropped like a rock, and the last I checked, booster boxes are sitting at around $130 now. So we went from around an average price of $180 to $200 down to about $130. That's a very large drop. And that's a very big drop from recent prices. So if you've been waiting on Vivid Voltage this entire time, it looks like your patience is finally being rewarded. Another big factor that we can look at is that now there are 4 more sets that can really begin to distract us. We have sets like Shining Fates, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, which is coming very soon, even Battle Styles. And then if you throw in the 25th anniversary, that's plenty of sets to draw our attention. Combine all of these new cards, these new sets, these shiny new things to look at that we can get, and then you add in this fresh supply of Vivid Voltage, and it's a perfect recipe to see prices drop. And even if we look at the cards themselves, we have the Rainbow Rare Pikachu, which is a notoriously hard card to pull. Supposedly it takes about 1,000 packs on average to pull a Rainbow Rare Pikachu. So if you have one, if you pulled one out of a pack, congratulations, you beat the odds. But it's a very hard card to get. And I think when the set first came out, the Rainbow Rare Pikachu, I want to say it was selling for somewhere around $1,000. Ungraded, so brand new. It was selling for about $1,000, not even a PSA 10, just ungraded. It was selling for about that much. Now the PSA 10 sells for less than that. I think the last I checked, the price is somewhere around $700, and ungraded, that card sells for about $250 to $300. If we look at the amazing rares, those have dropped somewhere about 50% from the time of the initial release. I want to say, this is just again off of memory, but the amazing rares, they were selling for somewhere around $20 at the start or at the very beginning, except for the Rayquaza, which I think was around $40. And all of those prices have come down significantly from those price points. And if we look at the population reports of all of these cards, the amazing rares, it's on pace to easily be able to reach over 1,000 cards in PSA 10, probably in the next 1 to 2 years, maybe faster than that. but definitely in the next 1 to 2 years, we should see the PSA 10 pops hit over 1,000 cards on each of the amazing rares. And again, that doesn't even include cards from other grading companies. For example, a lot of cards are getting submitted to CGC. Our lovely thick boy rainbow rare Pikachu also has over 1,300 cards graded in PSA 10. Just at PSA alone, we have 1,300 cards in a perfect gem mint grade. And this is a card that supposedly is rare and difficult to pull from a set that is less than a year old, and it already has over 1,300 cards graded in PSA 10. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the prices and the population reports are going to settle over time, because 1,300 PSA 10 thick Pikachu cards in less than a year from a set that was constantly sold out and was in short supply, and we had delays at PSA, who knows where those numbers could end up in the next couple of years. And even though I love the amazing rares, I love the cards from this set, and I like how much the prices have dropped, I have not bought any cards from this set quite yet. When Vivid Voltage first came out, I felt like patience would pay off, and so far it's working out pretty good. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm pretty happy so far, because if I decided to buy some cards today, I could get maybe 2 to 3 times as many cards now versus when Vivid Voltage first released. So that's awesome already. And getting the most value for your money is great whether you're a pure collector or you're an evil investor. It's a great feeling just to get more value, to get more cards for your money. That means if you're a collector, even if you care nothing about the price, if you care nothing about the value, when you get a better deal, that means you get more cards for your collection. And so with all that said, now that the prices have finally come down, and they've come down heavily this time, am I finally ready to buy in now? And my answer is no, I am not ready to buy yet. It's been over 6 months since the set came out, but I'm going to keep waiting. And I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to start buying or if I'm going to start buying, but I don't think now is the right time for me. And I can only speak for myself here. And people thought I was crazy for being cautious with Vivid Voltage from day one, but I'm not a flimper, I'm a long-term thinker, and the supply of the amazing rares, combining that with the record demand in the hobby, for me that was enough reason to be cautious. I thought the prices were high for the amazing rares, and with the print runs that are starting to come in finally, we're starting to see the supply really hit full force. And I don't know where prices go from here. Maybe they go up, maybe they go down, but considering the price action, the PSA population reports, and that there's plenty of time for more cards to be printed, I think I'm going to stick with my philosophy of being patient as much as I love the cards inside of this set. Now that we made it this far into the video, and now there's probably about 2 of you left listening, props to you for making it this far, what's important here is recognizing the difference between FOMO and doing something because you think it's actually the right choice, because it's something that you thought about. If you notice with my personal situation, I wanted to buy those amazing rares every step of the way. I loved the cards the very first time I saw them. I still think they look amazing, and I still want to buy them right now. But I know that's my emotions talking. That's my emotions battling with my logic. And I think we as humans, we naturally get caught up in our feelings to the point that we're not really thinking straight. And it's difficult. It's very difficult to put those feelings aside and just do what is best for us in the long term. It's difficult to think logically instead of emotionally, which is just human nature. We're just naturally wired to think about today. We're naturally wired to think about right now. We want those amazing rares the first day that it comes out, when the set first comes out, because it's exciting, it's fun, you want to be the first one to have it. But in the end, the question is, does it really matter that much if we waited a little bit and got the cards, let's say, 6 months or a year later? I can't speak for everyone, but I don't think it changes much for most people. Just like we probably won't care if we didn't eat out that one night, or we didn't buy that one random thing at the store that we ended up never using and you just throw into a corner. Just like it's hard to save money because we want to spend it right now. Just like it's hard to invest because we want to make money right now. We want to be rich now, not 10 years from now. We want things now. We want the results today. And that's not a knock on anyone, because I'd love to have instant results. This Pokemon card bull market was so much fun. It was so fun watching prices just go up every day. It was fun buying a booster box that just instantly went up in price the moment it released. That's fun. It's exciting. But that same excitement, that's what causes us to make irrational decisions. It's that same fun and excitement that makes us lose sight of our goals, our original goals, and it causes us to FOMO because we don't want to miss out on something. It's the classic case of the fear of missing out. And it's that same fear of missing out that causes us to be impatient. And it's that same fear that tricks us into thinking prices doubling and tripling is normal when it's actually not. We go from investing into something because we think it has future potential, or we go from buying something just because we like it into speculating on something that we expect we can turn, let's say, a couple $100s or a few $100s into thousands of dollars because we expect the price to double and triple and quadruple overnight. When the reality is that that is the exception. It's not the rule. It's not normal for products to double and triple in price so quickly. We shouldn't be able to pre-order Vivid Voltage for $100 and then expect the price to go to $200 and $250 overnight. But I'll tell you exactly how to turn a couple $100s into thousands of dollars. It's so easy that I guarantee most of you listening to this will not do it. Just set aside $200 a month. Do that for the next 5 years. And that adds up to $12,000. And the stats say that most people do not have anywhere close to that much money in their bank accounts. And if you put that $200 a month into Pokemon the last 5 years, this prior 5 years, you're probably sitting on about $50,000 to $100,000 in cards. And I'm not exaggerating. Those are very realistic numbers because Pokemon has performed exceptionally well. Just $200 a month the last 5 years very easily could be $50,000 to $100,000, maybe more today in today's market prices. And that's not a get rich quick territory type of numbers, but that's pretty fast and that's life-changing money for a lot of people. And this isn't hard to do. This isn't hard to do because it's difficult. It's hard though because we make it hard on ourselves mentally. It's all a mind game. It's not terribly difficult to set aside, let's say, $200 a month and do that for several years. But we look at these bigger numbers. We think $12,000, $50,000, $100,000. I'll never be able to save that much or accumulate that much. I'll never be able to get myself into that position because we start looking at those larger numbers instead of looking at the steps that it takes to get there. And I get it because it's hard to imagine how a couple $100s a month can become tens of thousands of dollars. It's hard to imagine how much can be done if we just stick with something, if we just put our head down and keep building something great and stop thinking about how we're going to feel short term, how we're going to feel tomorrow, how we can make money fast, how we can make money easy. But here's something that you do know. You know this for a fact. This is a fact. If everyone else is doing it, that's what normal people do. And normal people thinking is going to get you normal, average results. And most of us want extraordinary results, not average. And even though it's not easy to do, if you want a different life, you're going to have to do something a little different. And what's important here is that sometimes we have to put our emotions aside and just look a little bit further. Just look a little bit further ahead. It's why I can buy a lot more Vivid Voltage cards today, a lot cheaper than I could just a few months ago. It's why I didn't sell my PSA 10 Japanese Scream cards when the set hit about $1,000. I could have sold then, but I held on and now it's worth about $6,000. Just look a little bit further. Have a little bit more vision into the future. It was very difficult, for example, for me to buy up Cosmic Eclipse when no one cared about that set. A lot of people said it was actually a mediocre to a bad set. Yes, that's what people actually said about it. And the thing is that that was the perfect time while no one was paying attention and I could find great deals before the hype ever arrived. And that's the difference when we start thinking a little bit further ahead, when we start thinking about the future instead of expecting what we buy to just go up in price instantly. That's the difference when we avoid the FOMO, the instant results thinking that gets us in a lot of trouble. It gets a lot of people in a lot of trouble and into tricky situations. It's hard to turn $200 into thousands of dollars, but somehow $200 a month can easily turn into tens of thousands of dollars in just a few years. That little twist, that change in your thinking is everything. So I'm going to keep being patient. That's my plan for now, as much as I love the cards inside of Vivid Voltage. And I'm going to keep being that weird guy who does things differently. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Maybe it turns out great, maybe not. But I imagine that you don't want normal, average results. And if you want a different life than the average person is ever going to achieve, you're going to have to do things and think about things a little bit different.